What is going on, Future Focus family? My name is George. That's Matt. We talk about investing on this channel. It's been a while since we've been on. Matt's got a lot of things going through his life while he's been transitioning. I've got a lot of stuff going on, but we're back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Matt, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. That fade is looking right, though.
That what?
That fade is looking right underneath.
Now I got to get a haircut today, actually. But yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's just jump right into it, man. But you doing good?
I'm doing good, boss. I'm doing really good. Always volatile, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I move in general, but I'm doing good.
Good, brother. All right, so let's get right into it. Let me turn this off real quick. All right, so as you can see, man, the market's been going back up lately. It's kind of been fluctuating between like the $4,300 level and the $3,800 level for like the last few months. But the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow, they all finished up pretty bullish to end the week after 3 straight weeks of the market going down. So currently, the S&P 500 is sitting slightly above the 4,000 level. It finished up 1.53%. The Nasdaq finished up 2.11%. The Dow finished up 1.19. We may disagree though on what's next for the market, so we'll talk about that. Matt and I usually have contrasting thoughts on things, but that's why we do this. The gold is under that key level that I kept mentioning before last time we talked, Matt. Anything under 1800, which I've kind of shifted down. So anything under 1750, I'm considering a buy for gold. I was actually looking at silver yesterday, seeing if there was anything out there that I liked, because silver was under $20, and that was like a key level that I was looking for.
Okay.
Is there any key levels for gold or silver that you've been looking for? I know you usually like you don't care what the price is, you're buying no matter what. But have you had any like with the
So I gave that up, man. I sold it all. I had to fund the transition. I sold it all, man.
whoa 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 whoa
Nah,
hold
nah, nah, nah.
hold
Nah,
on
I'm
you
lying. I'm lying. I'm lying.
oh,
Hey, listen, that's something that's going with me no matter what.
all right,
I'm
so
lying.
you have not sold out of your silver and gold. You still have
Not,
your silver and
not,
gold.
not an ounce. Not an ounce.
All right, good, man. You scared me for a
Not,
second. I was like, uh-oh.
not an ounce.
But even if you did sell it, that's why we do this. That's why you have it.
Yeah,
Because
no,
if you do need it, if you do need to sell it, you have that option.
that thing, and I'm gonna give it back to you in a second. But just our generation, like we want instant gratification, right? And we see the success of others. We want to duplicate that. But I think reading Benjamin Graham, this is a long time ago, reading An Intelligent Investor, they said holding a stock for 5 years was short term. Think about that. Holding a stock for 5 years was considered short term back then. Now that's long term. So you gotta have those diamond hands, as they say. I hate saying
Yeah.
that, but
Nah, but you are right, man. If you're gonna do this, do it. Do it 100%. Do make educated decisions. I stay on Reddit on some of these boards, not to do what they do, but to see how they think. And I see a lot of bearish sentiment, and it happened really after the Bed Bath and Beyond. Like these people really got burned badly on that when they thought, I missed GameStop. I'm gonna jump on this, and then they got burned really badly. So a lot of people are like, is anybody out there hiring? But as you can see right now, Bitcoin is up above that $21,000 level. Ethereum has been rising the last few days. It's down right now, but it's been up the last few days. It's at $1,719. A lot of this, you're still breaking up, Matt. A lot of this still has to do with that merge that's going to come, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's take a closer look at the S&P 500, and this is what the S&P 500 has done as of lately. So as you can see, this was back in the big crash March 2020. Since then, we've kind of gone up, gone up, gone up. We came back down to
Oh
this
no.
$3,600 level back in 13 June, which was the bottom. Some people are calling it. Uh, and what I do see in this chart that is a little bullish is we have been establishing higher lows. So as you saw this, you had a higher high and a higher low. Over here, you had a higher high, a higher low, but now it can be something right here called a double top. We talk about it all the time on this channel, and we have had a drop, but the question is, how far are we going to drop? Matt, do you have any theories on where we're going next? In the like, do you think the market as a whole is going to continue a downward trajectory, or do you think like we have hit a true bottom back in June?
That's a very good question. It's really hard to say, man. It's hard to say. I think so what do I think? I think a little deflation, then potentially a hyperinflation episode. But I definitely see the best. I see both, either or, in whatever sequence. I do see further weakness as we tighten rates. We're not done tightening rates. Of course, we're gonna have further drops. Um, but with that being said, I don't think they're gonna allow it to drop to a certain level. And yes, I do believe in market manipulation.
And that's in all markets, right? I know you
That is.
have you heard anything about a silver squeeze? Like, I know you're in those circles.
But yeah,
Have you heard?
I'm part of the squeeze, my man.
Oh, you're part of that silver squeeze?
I'm part of. I'm not gonna be so brazen to call myself the chairman or the CEO of the squeeze, but I'm
But you,
definitely a shadow squeezer.
you're in the mix. Okay. We could
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit more. The next topic we're going to talk about is space stocks. They've been hurt a lot lately, and they put in a mixed circuit quarter. Some of them went up, some of them went down, but a lot of them are like really, really down high. So you have Aerojet, Rocketdyne. They're down 3%, which sounds like a lot year to date, but some of these other stocks are down really, really crazy. All right. So Aerojet Rocketdyne is one that I own. AST Space Mobile, I don't own. Maybe I should have. They're up 36%. You have Astra, which was a special purpose acquisition company that merged. They're a small rocket and spacecraft builder. They reported a heavily quarter loss. Year to date, look at this, bro. They're down 88% year to date. That's crazy. Black
Mm.
Sky is down negative 52%. You have Iridium down. I'm sorry, they're up 9%. Maxar, which is one that I really believe in. This is a company that I've talked about here before. Their stock is down negative 20%. I might look to buy more of Maxar Technologies. If you guys want me to do a video on that one, I will. You have Momentous, which was another special purpose acquisition company. They are down 58%. You have Minarch, Redwire down 41%, 54% respectively. So as you look at these, how much they're down, are you bullish at all on the space sector, Matt?
Um, I am. I don't think it's the top priority for me right now, but I am. I can't remember exactly what it was used for. I remember reading an article saying that they need certain companies to deliver. I, I I remember they were using it as a delivery vehicle. I can't remember for what, but I remember repairs to satellites was one thing. I
Yeah.
can't remember all the utility uses behind it.
Not, I totally agree, man. But like Virgin Galactic was one of those stocks that a lot of people were very, very bullish on. It was Kamal Palatia was part of this one. I always mess up his name, but um, he's sold completely out of this one. A lot of those special purpose acquisition companies that he brought to market, he sold out of them. So a lot of people feel kind of burned. Do you think that space tourism could be something like? You foresee that being like a big thing in the future?
I do, I do, I do, I do, I do. Yeah, it's hard for me to.
Um,
I'm not a fan of it, but I do.
I just don't think that people have $200,000 to go do one experience. You know what I mean? And they're not going to want to do it alone. So if you want to bring your family, that's like $1 million trip that you're never going to see again. And
So
do you,
I think we're over time they're gonna reduce the cost, make it more affordable, more accessible. I don't think it's gonna be $200 a trip, but I can see 50 grand, 50 to 100 grand, and with this generation of people, everybody wants to do something that has never been done before, or they want to be the
would you
first.
would you pay that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, neither would I, and that's one of the reasons I haven't invested in Virgin Galactic. But it's out there. You know, you have another one called Virgin Orbit, and this one is an alternative rocket launcher. They did not report in their revenue yet. They completed a launch the day after the second quarter ended, and will recognize $12 million from that period. They recorded an adjusted earnings before interest, taxes, deductions, and amortization loss of 34.4 million, and they have 122 million cash in hand. The company expects to complete 2 more launches this year, making 4 total in 2022, but they are down negative 50% as well. So that's another stock that you could possibly invest in if you are looking into space. Out of all of these, the one I'm most bullish on is Maxar Technology. So take a look at that one. Maxar is one of those that they have money coming in from a lot of different areas. They have 4 different big businesses that center around space and like defense. The military has contracts with them, and they have they won a major part of last 10-year National Reconnaissance Office imagery contract worth up to 3.2 billion. So people still believe in this company. So Maxar is one that down 20%. Go ahead, take a look at it. I'm not saying buy in right now, but do some research on it. If you guys want me to make a video on it again, just let me know in the comments and I'll go ahead and do that. So Disney just had their D23 Expo, and what do you think about Disney, Matt? Is do you think
Um,
Disney is a buy or what?
I have to see the share price and see where they sit. But going forward for the future, it is a good company.
So
Um,
their share price is currently $115 after market. So that's, you know, pre COVID they were at $140 around per share. So they're way below pre COVID levels. Do you
thank you.
think that this stock right here is a buy? Like, do you think they're worse than they were before COVID?
So again, thank you, because that was the next question I was gonna ask. What's their 52-week high? And I think another good indication of value. What is their dividend?
So their dividend is 0.76%, which is like less than it used to be, but because they're taking a lot more of that money and putting it into their content, like with the Marvel, like they have Marvel that's doing big things, Star Trek doing big things. And a lot of their shareholders asked that instead of a dividend, they start investing more money into that streaming platform that they have. So they're taking a
Uh,
lot of that extra money that they had and they're putting it back into content because, you know, they're competing with Amazon, Apple, Netflix, who are all spending a gross amount of money on content. Their 52-week high is $187.58. So they're way below that. But they're above their 52-week low, which is $90.23. So that was on June 14th when the rest of the market dropped really bad. You know, their 52-week high was about a year ago. So they're in a year they're down. You're getting them at a discount right now.
okay, I will look at some other things too. I will look at the what's their debt to equity? That'll be my last question on it. What's their debt to equity?
55.79%.
55. What's the ratio? Where is it? Debt to equity.
There.
Okay. Um. Okay. It's not a bad. Yeah, that's not anything below 100 is good. It's a good buy, but it's a long term play. What's the
Yeah,
market?
yeah, yeah.
It's a long term
Um,
play.
yeah. So their market cap is 209.98 billion.
Ah, shit. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I want to put a lot of money into it though, but it's a good buy.
All right, good, good. So that's Disney. So go ahead. We'll come back to that. But investors are piling into nice stocks every time the market rallies, which is kind of the opposite of what you want to do. But one of the questions proposed here is the S&P 500 rally another head fake? Which means like, is it going up but only to come back down? Stock stays their most powerful run this year from June 16th to August 16th when the S&P 500 rallied more than 17%. But that's just the biggest and most impressive rally until the pressures of inflation sank in again. And they had like after it dropped, we're at like a 6% gain. So these are some of the stocks that investors are jumping in every time the S&P 500 goes back up after a drop. Enphase Energy is one. You have Tesla that they've been slowly jumping back in, especially after that new infrastructure package with all the like the new green deal that they've been talking about finally got passed. I'm sure you heard of that, Matt.
Who's this with Tesla?
Well, like all of the energy, like is like a bill that was signed into law.
I think so. I think so. I think so. Is
Part
it
of that was the CHIPS Act too.
is it the step away from like fossil fuels and focusing more on renewable energy?
Yeah, yeah,
That
exactly.
um I think a lot of people, a lot of pundits that I watch brought up a good point. They didn't even say this. I'm just gonna say this. It means well, but it's not really realistic. Like you
Yeah,
have to transition into. It's like me saying, um, "Oh, I'm just gonna go from America to Japan, and that's fine if I don't know the language, right?" Like you need you have to transition whenever you're going into something new. So you still have to take some of the old with you, i.e., fossil fuels, and create less and less. But to be honest with you, our reliance on fossil fuels have only been going up. If you've been paying attention,
yeah.
especially in the euro crisis that we see going on. But I think it's a bill in paper or a bill in theory, but I think we're far away from the application.
But are you bullish on like all the companies in this sector on the energy space or not?
Give me some names. Give me some names.
So you got obviously Tesla, who's a big proponent of the green space. You have companies that kind of tie into it, like Plug Power. You have companies that are like the infrastructure for the power, like the power grid, like STEM. That was one of the ones we've talked about here before in the past. They kind of control the grid of all that power. And Tesla hits it from different angles. They got the solar panels. They have those big battery packs that they sell. Obviously, the vehicles. But are you bullish on these? Like, do you think 10 years from now, all these stocks are going to be higher? Or do you think we're overdoing it like we did kind of in the dot-com bubble?
So, of course, I'm gonna say that. 10 years is a long horizon. They might be able to recover by then. But the problem with the companies that you named for me is that they're all downstream, right?
Yeah.
They apply renewable energies, but they don't create renewable energies, right? So I'm looking further upstream. I want the
Yeah.
the
Give us some names. Give us some names.
I'm so me personally, my biggest renewable play is going to be uranium stocks. Um,
Yeah.
I,
Is there any uranium stock in particular that you
oh,
like?
gritty. You want the gritty.
I want the gritty. Like that's what we're here for.
Um, Denison Mines is a good one. I think you have Uranium, Royalty Corp. You have damn. Um, who else do you have? They
So out of all these uranium companies, because like some people say that like uranium is in a bubble. Like, do you believe
um,
that, or do you believe that we're like just at the precipice?
I feel like we're at the precipice without a
Okay,
doubt. I
so
I'll put all the
ev-
chips in the middle of the table for that one.
okay, so everybody watching out there, Matt is saying take a look at uranium, which I have to be honest, I have seen a lot of articles talking about uranium. I haven't personally purchased anything in the uranium sector, but I'm not opposed to it. You know, so um, I am going to take a look at some of these in the uranium sector because we are looking for alternative forms of energy. If you guys want me to do a video specifically on a uranium stock that you've heard about or one of the ones that Matt brought up, let us know in the comments below, and we'll make that happen. All right, let's keep the show moving. Next, we're going to talk about Morgan Stanley. They expect the S&P 500 to plunge another 15 to 25% within the next 4 months. So, do you agree with this sentiment or not? This is coming from Morgan Stanley.
You know, you got to be careful when you listen to the banks, man, because sometimes they're telling the truth, and in other times they have an agenda. Um, they have an agenda of as to why they're saying something. So sometimes they might agree with my sentiment, and I'm like, I don't trust it just because who it's coming from. But uh, 15 to 20%, I think is a little strong. I can see 5 to 10%. I think 15 to 20 is strong. I think people are still we're still in the mania. I don't think
Yeah.
reality really set in for a lot of people yet.
Keep in mind that we're already down 17% year to date.
Mm.
So you're saying from there we could go down another 5 or 10%.
Yeah, but I don't I put it to you like this. I'm not saying that it can't go down further. I'm just saying I don't think it's gonna go down as much, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna breathe a little bit, probably go. It's probably gonna trade sideways, and then go down even further. Breathe and then go down or whatever. I don't think it's gonna
Uh,
be that huge of a drop.
so you expect just lower lows, like lower highs, lower lows.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It,
what like this is a quote from here. While acknowledging the poor performance in equities year to date, we do not think the bear market is over. Our earnings forecasts are correct. They expect the S&P 500 to fall to 3400 by year end. Remember, we're at 4100 right now.
oh,
And if a recession hits the economy, they say the benchmark index, the S&P 500 could drop to 3000. So that's a big drop. You know, even at the June low this year, we only fell down to about 3613 at the low. So that's a huge drop even from 3600 for a benchmark. This is not like a meme stock. This is the best 500 companies in the world.
hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think it's damn. I've seen these banks wrong before, right? So you can't have too much, no pun intended, stock in their word. I've seen them wrong before. I think it's really steep, but there are world events that could take us down there. I mean, China's not doing well, Europe's not doing well. That's probably what they're factoring in their number. But one thing I'm not sure that they're factoring in is the power to manipulation.
All right, so this right here says this article from Market Watch, the wild card that could sink stocks. What investors need to know as the Fed unwinds liquidity that had helped fuel market gains. So Oh, there's the royal flush here. Quantitative monetary easing is credited for juicing stock market returns and boosting other speculative assets, which we know that's not something brand new. But one of the quotes is, I don't know if the Fed or anybody else truly understands the impact of quantitative tightening just yet. So the Fed, in fact, began slowly shrinking its balance sheet, a process known as quantitative tightening or QT, earlier this year. Now it's accelerating that process as planned and is making some market watchers nervous. However, there's an opposite side of that where there are people that are actually happy that the Fed finally did it. They were wondering why the Fed was still buying these mortgage-backed securities 2 years after the whole pandemic. I know you thought they were never going to raise the like. Did you ever expect 75% basis point hikes?
So that's a very good. That's a very good question. And yes, you're right. I never expected them to raise rates. I didn't think they had it in them. But let's be honest here. Um, these rates are not doing anything, man. So just to give you an example, right? It's like they called my bluff, but they did it on the smallest scale that they could.
Yeah,
In order to arrest inflation, you have to raise rates to the point where they're higher than inflation. So, for example, if the CPI, if the inflation index is 9%, you're not going to stop inflation by having yields come to 3%. You're missing 6% of inflation growth. You have to arrest that, right? And I'm not just talking out the side of my face. Looking at history, Paul Volcker, inflation was 15%. He went all the way to 18. You have to go higher. We're halfway there. And I know damn well they're not going to go all the way to 9. So they did it, but at what level? The Fed shrinking his balance sheet. Who are they selling to? Right? They've been buying mortgage-backed securities. They've been buying treasuries at 1% too. Remember all this the we went through a phase of low interest rates, right? 1% interest rates, 2% for 10 years. You get 2% of your money after 10 years, or every year for 10 years. Who's buying that right now? Who's buying that?
So this year, since like 1943, has been the worst year for the 60/40 portfolio, which means you have 60% of your portfolio in stocks and 60% of your portfolio and 40% of your portfolio in bonds, which is kind of a ratio that a lot of hedge funds use. Um, this is the worst year for that portfolio.
So they got that from the great investor, or I'm sorry, the intelligent investor Benjamin Graham, 60/40 bond stocks. But that's dead. That's a dead concept. First of all, when that concept came out, we were on a gold standard, right? Money meant something, right?
Yeah.
Your purchasing power wasn't just eroding. Like we were a commodity backed currency. Um, that's why it doesn't mean anything now. Money has no value. So 60/40, that doesn't mean crap to me.
I totally understand, man. Let's move on. We're gonna get into the last third of this thing right now. Let's talk about some crypto. Let's get into some crypto news. All right, so let's talk about something that just happened, and then we're gonna talk about some of the effects. So the crypto is not the safest place yet. Can it be? Maybe one day. But I don't know if you heard this story, man. Bill Murray raised nearly 200,000 worth of crypto for charity, and a hacker stole it almost immediately.
Man,
That's something crazy, man. Bill Murray is the latest celebrity to be targeted by crypto thieves. Criminals made up off with 119.2 ETH, about 185,000. The actor had raised during his NFT charity auction. The unknown hackers also attempted to steal NFTs from Murray's personal collection, which include two CryptoPunk NFTs. The Groundhog Day Stars virtual wallet security team consultant was able to protect his NFTs. However, they were unable to protect the funds raised for charity. It could be difficult to retrieve them since cryptocurrency transactions are typically irreversible. Murray's team says they filed a police report and are working with crypto analytics company Chainalysis to identify the thief. Although Murray's charity funds appear to be gone, another Coinbase user has donated about 187,500 worth of Ether to Chive Charities, the nonprofit Murray was raising funds for. So she kind of replaced the money that went missing. But the fact that it went missing is kind of the basis for some of these other stories that we've been hearing lately. That's not the only event like this that's happened. So SEC enforcement chief says we can't ignore crypto law breaking. This is the chief right here. His name is Gurbir Grewal, director of enforcement at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which we'll talk about. Gary Gensler, who kind of runs that in a second, he had some comments as well. But it says it often seems that critics are upset because we're not giving crypto a pass. It's the only industry specifically addressed, revealing how much the agency is currently thinking about digital assets. They are impartially enforce the laws on the books. And Gary Gensler later, he went on to make his own comments about this as well. He had takes on this as well. This is an audio file, but basically, he's really into crypto because he kind of taught it. He's taught crypto before. So how do you feel about that Bill Murray news? I know it's not a shock to you.
There you go. And I was about to say, is that the first time you ever heard that argument from me?
Oh, not at all.
You know, and this is the crazy thing. I invest in crypto, but it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it sometimes. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy to steal. Like, it requires a lot of knowledge on the front end, but physical manual labor, it requires zero. Right? Like, that's another added level of security. I've always felt like this, but the late great, what's his name, John McAfee, is that his name?
Yeah.
He who invented or who founded, what is it, McAfee Securities or McAfee um software security? I guess it's a software for your computer to safeguard your computer. He said he was the one that warned it against crypto easily being stolen and people watching your screen. There's so many sophisticated and unsophisticated ways to steal your crypto. Um, and a lot of people have, this is the thing, very few people will run into your home to take your money, right? Like, you have to have a gun, and then they don't know what they're walking into. It takes a very brazen individual. Here, everybody has a computer, right? Everybody's not necessarily, they could be close or miles away. And the biggest thing, who do you report that to? And that's always been my argument. Who do you report this to? It's not American currency. So American agencies could say, okay, they stole money. I mean, but it's not our money.
No.
You we can't protect you under federal guidelines. It's not our money. So what country owns this money so they could protect you?
Yeah, and that's one of the big issues that some people have with it. I mean, like just like yourself, I'm an investor in cryptocurrency, but I've reduced the amount that I'm obviously willing to put into it as a percentage of my personal
Mm.
portfolio. But let's get into the last bit of news here.
I,
We
I
have.
I do want to add one thing though.
Go
Just
ahead. Go
one.
ahead.
When you commit wire fraud, who comes after you?
Depending on the quantity, but anything over, I believe, $10,000, you got the FBI coming after you.
Oh, federal agencies, because you're committing a federal crime with federal institutions and with federal currency.
Yes.
All right. We don't have that for crypto.
No, not yet. And that may be something, you know, eventually has to go to like a NATO level where it's like countries have to agree. Sort of like, you know, the uh, something in Switzerland, you know, where everybody comes together and makes a plan that works for everybody. But you know, that's going to be hard, especially
Absolutely.
when you have countries at war with each other like Ukraine and Russia. How are they going to sit down and agree
There
about
you
something
go.
right now?
There you
But
go. There you
but
go.
Ethereum is ready for the merger at last. The Shadow Fork completes successfully. The successful completion of the Shadow Fork signaled the readiness of Ethereum network for migrating to a proof of stake consensus mechanism. For all those who don't know, Ethereum is in the midst of changing from proof of work, which means they mine it, to proof of stake, which means the network is not supported by miners, it's supported by people who are actually the users of it. And miners are no longer given rewards. The rewards are given to the people who are actually staking the currency, meaning they have it not in a wallet that can't be used, but they have it in a wallet. Right now, Binance is offering, I believe, 6% return on Ethereum. I just got a notification on my phone about it. So
Mm.
if you do, Binance is giving you the highest return on your investment for staking Ethereum. There's no length of time you have to stake it. So if you stake it for a day or two, like you're still gonna get something back. There's no like three month lockup. On
Oh,
crypto.com, you get like 1% back for staking Ethereum. So that's a 5% difference. Just some news I thought I'd share with you guys. Ethereum developers confirmed that successful completion of the prerequisites required for the highly anticipated blockchain upgrade. Shadow Forks help developers stress test synchronization assumptions to ensure network safety during permanent upgrades. In light of the merge, Ethereum developers implemented the first Shadow Fork on April 11, 2022, and nearly 6 months in, Ethereum research and engineering company Nethermind confirmed that the transition in the mainnet Shadow Fork 13, the latest Shadow Fork, was successful, signaling the readiness of the network for migrating to a proof of stake consensus mechanism. Here's some code. I can't read that. You know how to read code?
um, what kind of code?
So I'm not
C plus
I'm not
plus.
sure.
That
I
not
don't know
really.
if this is Viper or what code
I,
that
I
is, but
I've heard of it, but no, I can't say I can
no.
read it. No.
So this is a quote here. You have to be just, let's say, awake and see what happens. There's a chance for high volatility, and so you have to make sure your services are up and running. We don't expect any major disruptions outside of volatility. In the wake of this news, the crypto market has been rising as of late, which is nothing new. I mean, anytime there's news, now the big thing is it going to be buy the rumor, sell the news, which means like it's people buying now, but as soon as something happens, is everybody going to sell? And that's one of the things you have to wait on. So sometimes it's smarter to just be patient, wait for it actually to happen, see if there's a big sell off, and then that would be the time to buy in. And if there's not a big sell off, yes, you may have missed like a 5% run up, but it's better to be patient, miss that 5% run up, but still have capital to invest and put in at a later date. So there's no need to rush. There's no need to jump in and start buying crypto at the cyclic rate right now. There's going to be that level of excitement, especially since the crypto market like got popular. A lot of people have been putting big quantities in because they expect to get big quantities back. And that's relative because a big quantity for somebody could be $100. For somebody
Mm.
else, it could be $10,000 savings that they had for their college fund. Just be careful. Don't make this a huge part of your portfolio. Do not go 100% crypto. Hedge your bets, you know, but you should have some exposure. And I truly believe that even Matt, who is like the perma bull over here, he's got some exposure to crypto. Give me an estimate of what percentage of your portfolio is in crypto.
Oh, the whole portfolio?
Yeah, like everything you own, all your assets. How much would you say is in cryptocurrency, man?
Anywhere from 5 to 10%.
And how much is in gold?
Ooh. I would say 60 to 70%.
So look at that. He's got about 60 to 70% in hard assets. So hard assets that he could actually hold and put away in a safe. And he's got about 10 to 5% in digital assets that he's not afraid to lose because he has those hard assets to back him up. If worse came to worse and every cryptocurrency he has went to zero, he would still be covered. No one's gonna come and break into his house and take that, and he doesn't even keep it all in the same place, right? You got
No,
that's
no,
you got
absolutely.
you got that gold scattered all over the United States over
There you go. There you go.
yeah.
There-
But any last thoughts, man? Any last words of wisdom? It's been a while since we did this. I'm glad you had time to jump back on. Any last words, man?
Yeah. Stay safe out there. I thought you brought up a very good or a very important line prior to the vlog. Um, what did you say? You said you shouldn't be buying anything right now.
Oh yeah, before we got on, I said right now is the worst time to buy anything probably in
Right.
history. Yeah.
And I think that's a bold statement. Nobody knows which way this market is gonna break out. Um, so there's nothing wrong with sitting on the sidelines, and creating a cash reserve. Even though cash is trash, it might help a little bit or a lot
Yeah.
of bit.
But yeah, like he said, right now is probably the worst time to invest in real estate ever in history. Um, just because of where prices are at, they haven't really come down yet. But what has gone up is the amount of your interest rate if you're going to get a mortgage. They're like at over almost 6% again. And I only expect that to continue to rise. So wait for people to panic and start selling their house, and you're going to get a lot of these houses pennies on a dollar. All right. As far as cryptocurrency, dip your foot in if you're not in, just to get experience with it. I'm not going to tell you a specific place to go and get it. You have crypto.com, you have eToro, you have Binance. Like I said, Ethereum right now, if you go to Binance, you could stake it for 6%, which is more than you're going to get it. You're going to get inside of a bank, and it's more than you're going to get from a lot of these other platforms. I'm not sure how long that 6% is going to last, but I'm just giving you that info for your knowledge. Besides that, we're gonna come back strong. For everybody that gave us a moment of your time and watched some of this, thank you very much, Matt. Love you, bro. Thank you very much for your time. As always, invest in us and press that like button. Invest in yourself and smash that subscribe button. It costs you nothing. Until next time.